Hey guys, what's up? PDC here, and today we're going to be scouring YouTube, and we're going to be scouring YouTube for a relatively good reason. What we're going to be doing today is deciding, and not only deciding, but airing out some of my complaints on the YouTube Pokemon community, and basically showing you guys, who can teach you how to play, or who is actually good at this game. There you go. That's the subject of the video. We're going to be talking shit. Okay, not really. We're not going to be talking shit in this video. I'm just going to be telling you people why I think certain YouTubers are damaging to the competitive scene. Not this one, he's one of the good ones. But why I think certain YouTubers are damaging to the competitive scene, and the things that are incorporated in very large YouTube channels based on Pokemon, or at least that have Pokemon as some of their content. Why I think that some of the content is very shallow, misleading, some of them are almost their entire, content basis is just one gigantic misnomer. But I digress. We're going to be going through, and this is really going to be kind of a listy video, but we're going to be telling you guys, from the top of my head, who can teach you how to play and why that is important as we go along. So, first of all, obviously, Pokegame and Blunder. I'm sure you guys know who both they are. They're probably some of the two biggest Poketubers, but Pokegame, Blunder, JamVad, Chimpact, CTC, CBB, those guys can teach you how to play. I'm sure I'm missing, some players here and there, but as it is, those guys, and me of course included, and BKC whenever he decides to upload, we can all teach you Pokemon theory, how to play, elements of gameplay, the components that go into actually being a well-rounded player, different types of teams, the whole 9 yards. We can explain what you need to know, how you need to play, and give you guys tips to make you a better, player. That's just how it is. I think that to be a better player, you should, if you're at least starting out, I know YouTube is one of the most, early assets or outlets for many people who are starting to play competitive Pokemon. But if you're looking to start out, I would suggest you watch one of the people who I just mentioned. And of course, you have people like Callus, and you got all these guys. A lot of these people who are in my sub list are good players, NJMP. All of these guys can teach you how to play. There's no point to really expand upon them individually because they can all teach you how to play. That's it. Bottom line, they're good players, they understand the game at a high level, and that's it. They know how to play, and they can teach you it if you watch them, even just playing casually. And it's important we have people like this in the community because, in my opinion, Pokemon is really eventually, sooner or later, going to come to a head where we may be able to break out into a larger based, esport type thing. Maybe, maybe not. But I really do feel that with Joey getting signed by, I think, Tempo Storm or something, you may have potential for, certain Pokemon, tiers and tournaments to become big game things, big league things. Money, on the table. And with that possibility, the only, it's very, very important for us to, put ourselves out there as a community, to have the heads of community, because I would say the YouTubers are bigger than the TDs at this point, or the tiering leaders, and at least, popularity. It's important for the people who head the community to actually be good at the game. At least ostensibly head the community, but they have to be good at the game. You have to understand it at a deep level because some people just do not make a good case for Pokemon being a very high-level competitive game. Now, is Pokemon the most complex game out there? No, it probably is not the most complex game out there, but it's a game. It's a game which has been played online for decades, and it's reached a relatively large competitive fan base. So I'd be willing to say that it's very important that in the future, if Pokemon decides to ever become real serious business, we have these people who uplift the community and at the very least teach the bad players how to play. And our whole community gets better when the average skill level is boosted. That's just a fact. When even the lower level, or what you would term as lower level players get to a certain skill level, it reflects upon not only the heads of community as, a whole, as them as great teachers, but the entire, paradigm of the game, everything involves the game. If everything looks good and isn't just, devolving into, I'm clicking the super effective move because that's what Professor Oak told me when I put this game on cartridge, if you actually incorporate that serious competitive element at all levels, then yeah, through this vertical integration, yeah, we can make Pokemon a real thing, and it's already starting to become a real thing. I mean, 40,000 subs, Joey has almost 200K. I mean, that's no joke based off, almost exclusively one game. So what I'm trying to say is, we need people who understand the game, who play the game at a high level, who overall just are able to promote it in a serious context. And through teaching and through the education of, lower level players, we can reach a higher level as a community, as a whole. Unfortunately, you have some people out there who either have very little to contribute to the competitive scene, or outright are disparaging it and destroying it from the inside. I'm sure you could think of a few people off the top of our heads, who you would consider someone who is destroying the competitive scene. Verlicify is the number one. I'll look up his channel real quick. I haven't checked his channel in a while. But, Verlicify doesn't do too much competitive stuff anymore, at least I can tell. I think he's realized that there's a lot of more money, if not, completely more money. I'm sorry, my internet's really lagging, but there is a lot of more money probably in doing in-game stuff strictly. Doing EV guides, which are important too at a low level, but, doing like meme stuff like this, or news stuff. I'm bringing the news, Pokemon guides, yes. Listen. People like this are not... This is drama-driven, you can make videos like this on Pokemon. But the problem is, with someone like Verlicify, Verlicify imagines himself and his fanbase as a competitive bastion, as someone who knows how to play Pokemon at a high level. When the truth is, he is just parading himself around. He's parading himself around as this enlightened, very strong competitive player, which, in truth, is all just an incredible masquerade. The guy is not good at the game. He's not. He's not even good at VGC, and VGC is a joke in its own right. I'll make a video on that later, but when you have a guy like this who is really, if I look up Smogon, I wonder what would come up, how many videos, but, look at this. Smogon is a joke. A lot of these are a year... Oh, never mind. Okay, this is a lot of videos. I was not expecting this. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. Listen, when you have this many videos talking about, outright deriding Smogon and competitive Pokemon, and then claiming yourself as an authority on competitive Pokemon when you clearly do not understand the game, that is toxic. That is one of the most vitriolic and misleading things you could possibly do when you are trying to expand a game. You're misleading entire sections of the community, and you're outright tricking them, because for what it's worth, if I were a new player, and I mean a new player, and I was coming onto the scene, and I see this guy who is, fairly palatable in content, so I'm not too interested in the competitive aspect, so far, but I am interested in the concept of it. I don't really play it that actively. I just play some games of Pokemon Showdown. If I look up someone like Verlicify or, one of these people who, makes a career off of attacking Smogon, a career of evil, and I'm new and I don't really know the ropes, I don't know how deep this competitive Pokemon stuff goes, then that's bad. That is directly tearing apart the community. It should be consolidated around Smogon and the competitive rules, that basically make up the foundation of Pokemon on the internet. It's incredibly easy to fall into this trap too, because, like I said, if I were a new player and I see all this rhetoric about how Smogon is an evil, corrupt organization, and they're restricting you from using free Pokemon, I can't use what I want, because these people are making their rules and it's not competitive because Pokemon is supposed to be based on... Whatever, dude. People will believe that because it's a reactionary stance. I could say this parallels, conservatism and, people painting, I don't know. I don't know if I like linking it to an authoritarian government under socialism. I think that's a pretty good parallel, considering the rhetoric that most conservatives use against socialistic policies or, communist-esque, things, any leftist thought. Yeah, it's Villicify. I mean, Villicify is a conservative, alt-right guy himself, so maybe he took a tip from somewhere. But the idea behind it is that you have this looming, evil, deep state, authority figure, this straw man, evil community trying to tear you down and take away your freedom. The rhetoric is the same. Smogan is trying to make the game unfun. And the last thing you want to hear when you are getting into a game is that there is a roadblock which is making the game unfun. And they are actively trying to legislate something or regulate something which does not need to be regulated. I don't know. There's a motorcycle outside. But that's one of the big fears from someone who is just starting out. And it's understandable too when you don't have any context. So Villicify, he's an easy target. PDC, we know Villicify, if we've even laddered above the 1500 level on the ladder, we know Villicify is not good at this game. Well, why are you telling us this? Well, because it's important because, first of all, people have to learn what real competitive Pokemon battling looks like and what viability means, what the high level consists of. The high level does not consist of bitching and moaning about how there's an authoritarian boogeyman trying to take over, Pokemon and destroy all the fun aspects of the game. The Pokemon boogeyman or the Smogan boogeyman it's a good advertising technique because I'll tell you what, everyone wants to be a rebel, and in his own way, Villicify is being a rebel. He's being the cowboy, the big man of the Wild West, by going after Smogan and its rule set and its user base repeatedly. It's something that will inevitably happen over and over and over and over. And that's the way it's going to be. And to solve this issue, we have to stop recognizing these things as real. Now, outside of Villicify, who is there in the Pokemon community, the YouTube community, that I think is misleading? Well, if not outright toxic, and I don't think these people are outright toxic. I mean, these people are more for entertainment in the first place anyway. But it always has made me mad how people think, users I have nothing against Pimp Knight or guys like the Killer Nacho, if you remember them, or, old Wi-Fi battlers. I have nothing against them. I don't. I have nothing against these people. But the truth is, you have people like Pimp Knight and other competitive-esque battlers who use really, really cool teams on Wi-Fi, making a mockery of what competitive Pokemon actually is. I mean, it's fine. You can ladder, you can do all these things, you can play on Wi-Fi with wacky teams. I don't care. You can do whatever you want, you can upload it on YouTube. The problem is that the community and your viewers, who would otherwise be very valuable assets and building blocks to the overall competitive community, which again, you don't have to be involved in, you can just like playing Pokemon casually. But the problem is, a lot of these people consider themselves competitive battlers. And they'll look at these people who use these, I'm going to straight up, meme strategies, and they will confuse them for people who are actually competent at the game. They'll think that this guy is the best battler. And there is about, millions of these people on YouTube. I mean, if I just looked up competitive Pokemon and I sorted the videos by, let's say, upload date. I mean, you'll have, there's Jamvad, he's a good player, but you'll have plenty of people who, maybe rely, I assume a lot of these guys are at least decent, okay, because it looks like, some of this stuff is viable. But you have a lot of people who overall just do not understand or are not capable of going beyond the most basic levels of competitive Pokemon, and they're parading themselves around that they are good. And the whole community takes them as good because believe it or not, I mean, it really is starting to seem like competitive Pokemon battling sites and YouTubers are being overshadowed by meme-based stuff. I mean, Joey is the one exception. I mean, Blunder too, maybe, but I really do think it is damaging when these people are the front. They are the showmen. They're running the show on what is supposed to be competitive Pokemon. Now, again, you can upload whatever you want. You can play however you want, but it's probably not even these guys' fault, because I'm sure they know, or are at least somewhat cognizant that they are not really great Pokemon battlers. And they do it for fun, and they do it for memes, because memes sell, and kids like watching wacky strats. Or some Pokemon fans may like watching wacky strats. The problem comes from not even the people themselves, but what is derived from the content. And whatever comes out of it, whatever, conclusions you make, the conclusion should not be that this is the epitome of competitive battling. Because the epitome of competitive battling being throwing on your favorite starter and making a meme team about it and winning a Wi-Fi battle and convincing people that you're a beast, I mean, that's a joke. It is. It's a joke, and I'm not saying you can't make a video like that or have fun doing that. I have fun using meme teams too when I play. But please do not get that confused with what actual competitive Pokemon is. Again, I don't want to sound like I am bashing these guys, because these guys I really do not have a bone to pick. The people, who do this stuff for fun, I don't have a bone to pick with you. I just think it has to be made clear as day, that these people do not represent the competitive community and what it ideally could be. That's bottom line here. And now, there's actually someone who popped up, which I also want to talk about, which I think is more funny, if anything. When you have False Swipe Gaming, again, I'm not hating on the guy, or his, I don't even know if it's a single person, I think it's a team of people, but False Swipe Gaming makes these How Good Are X actually, bug types, Executor, random Pokemon. And again, I have no problem with the guy. It's not about the content. For what it's worth, these are probably pretty informative. I've watched some of them, and I've been like, okay, this is pretty cool. I mean, for these get lots of views. But for the most part, what does it mean to play competitive Pokemon? And how do you get better at competitive Pokemon? And, for things like these, I mean, they're on singular Pokemon, and they explain a history of the Pokemon, and they give very vague overviews, of their sets, and, they give, vestigial references to how they were in their metagames, respectively, but for the most part, they are not high-level competitive analyses. They're not. They're good, they're stepping stones, but I feel like the videos are essentially, I mean, outside of maybe the VGC stuff, which I know is incorporated, but when you're talking about singles battling, I mean, they are essentially go on Smogon.com, look at the top-rated set, which is probably outdated by maybe 5 years, maybe even a decade in the case of Gens 1 and 2 and 3, even 4 now at this point, and saying that this is what this Pokemon is and was and how it is, and this is how good it was, and it's disingenuous. It really is. Now, it's not wrong. I think that what he does is more information-based than analysis. It's a compilation of old analyses on Smogon.com and very, other loose data, stuff thrown around. I've watched some of the videos, and I've seen some of the sets that he says, were viable or are viable. How good was XYZ actually? And all I can really think is, no, that's not right. That's not how good it was actually. And the thing is that these videos rarely ever actually tell you if this Pokemon was good in their respective metagame. They're very surface level. They show you the sets, and I think it's very obvious that, the video itself does not exactly explain anything about the Pokemon outside of its, very superficial makeup, competitive makeup, or sets, or viability. That's really what it comes down to with these How Good Were These Actually videos. And again, I'm not hating on False Swipe Gaming. I don't want to sound like I am, but I think it's the truth. that to really, really elevate the competitive community, we need high-level and critical thinking analyses. The basics are fine, the information is fine, but I could bet a lot of money that these people, I'm not saying he hasn't played Pokemon, but I will say that he probably did not play the metagames in which he's talking about these Pokemon in at a high level in a long time, if ever. That is just going to be the truth. Of course, I can say this because I am an elitist on Smogon, and I see videos like this, and I have to critique them. It's my job. I mean, this YouTube channel is composed of me cursing on a ladder and me cursing other people on YouTube. That's pretty much what I do here. But it's a job that I've taken up because I think it is necessary to tell people that, you know, hey, this is not how it should be. This is not correct. This is not how it is. You know, you shouldn't be playing like this. That's kind of my job as a player who has been through the ringer, who has been playing for a decade. And I think that it's a reasonable argument to say that some of these lower level players that these videos are really pandering to could not understand the concepts that I am putting forth in my content. I agree. I think you're probably right if you say that. But, you know, PDC, these videos appeal to the common player, the person who loads up a team on Pokemon Showdown and doesn't have any idea what synergy is or how to team build. And you're right. You are completely right. And these videos do serve a purpose. I just think that at the end of the day, we need to be more expansive on actually teaching people how to be good at Pokemon and distancing ourselves from these purely informational videos which drop analyses. I'd say looking at one of these videos is closer to memorization than it is actually interpretation and application and critical thinking in evolving your Pokemon game. And again, I am not hating on False Swipe Gaming. I'm just saying what is, he probably knows it himself. Because actually, I think he did used to be a VGC player, now that I think about it. So saying he is not aware that these are very, you know, surface level analyses videos or informational based videos is probably disingenuous. But I think for the most part, anyone who's watching my channel is relatively competent in Pokemon and understands the point I'm trying to make. And the complete, unequivocal, you know, point, what I'm trying to say here is that we need to expand as a community and we need to identify what is competitively inclined and what isn't. What videos can make you better at Pokemon and what can't. And topics like this are very interesting. And if you wanted me to, I could probably do them myself, except for VGC. But I don't know if this is accurate. And I'm more afraid of copyright than you would ever know, so I'm not going to be doing a frame-by-frame of any of these videos or a reaction-based thing, because that's a death sentence. But what I am saying is that I think we have to think critically and lead people who are interested in the competitive community to actually participate in it and entice them. Show them the game is more than it appears to be. And like I said, these videos are fine. Even I would probably enjoy them because I like looking at trivia-based stuff. These are fine videos. These are fine videos. This is great content. I just think that it's incredibly misleading in its intention. Because watching a video like this, maybe it'll make you a better battler. Maybe it'll make you understand why something is good. But probably not, because, like I said, I don't think the video's job is to critically analyze why a Pokemon was good. Because I don't think whoever is, you know, making these videos has that knowledge. That someone like me, or BKC, or Joey, or Blunder, or anybody else who I've listed, and I'm sure some other people, have about this game. We've been here we've been a long time. We've seen it all. We've seen the metagame shift. And if you really wanted me to, I could tell you how a Pokemon has performed. So if you want me to do a video like this, I will. Again, no hate, except for Felicify, because I really do think you are, you are actively trying to destroy and tear this community apart. Every video you make on Smogon, it's like I have a brain hemorrhage or something, because I think the logic and reasoning of them is ludicrous. But that's going to be it for this video. It's a rant. It's not very organized, but I think it had to be said. And, I'm sure fans of mine will like this video. But, of course, it's a little controversial topic because I am calling certain sections of the community misleading or toxic or bad or unneeded or memes or things that should be completely truncated from the competitive aspect. But whatever, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been PDC, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.